everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sally and this is Secret Life of a Seamstress. So I'm here today with my little friend to talk to you about what I made in February. So I planned to make 4 things and February just seemed to fly by, and I kind of got to the end of the month and I'd only made 1 thing, so it was a bit of a rush to get everything done, but I'm really pleased to say that I did it, and yeah, I managed to get it done before the end of the month. So without further ado, I will talk to you about what I made. So you can probably tell that I'm actually wearing one of my makes, which was the Neilson Sudley pattern. If you remember from my fabric haul video, I wasn't quite sure whether to go for the dress version or the top version. You can probably tell that I went for the top version, and that was actually just because I feel like I need to make more tops, and 2, I just felt like even though I love this really kind of bright blue fabric, I was a bit worried it would be too much as a dress on me, so I decided to go for the top version. So I decided to go for a peplum style top, and is that what you call it, a peplum top? I'm not sure. So basically I cut the bodice as it is for the dress, and then in the pattern there's a variation for the dress with a drop hem, I think, with just a little bit of a skirt. See if I can show you on the pattern. No, it doesn't actually show you on the pattern, but in the pattern anyway there's like a variation for sort of a drop hem bodice with just a shorter frill skirt. So instead of doing the dress, I cut the bodice and then I used the pattern for the drop hem skirt and attached it to the bodice to make the top, and I really like it like this. I really like the length of it on me, but so it kind of just finishes on the hip. Obviously I could have taken it up a bit shorter if I wanted it to be, but I just turned up like a 2 centimetre hem, and I think that works really well. It's kind of hard to show you on the camera, but I really like it. Really like this style top, and I really like it in this fabric. I do think if I'd have gone for the dress version it might have been a little bit too much colour. I think for anyone who likes colour and isn't as scared of it as I am, it would have looked great as a dress, and even better as a maxi dress or something. But for me, yeah, this top works really well, and I really like this tie detail at the neck, so it just opens up to be like a keyhole tie at the top there, which I really like. And I was a bit nervous about making these ties because you know what it's like when you're trying to turn through a really narrow tie, but it actually worked really well. I did it on a knitting needle and just kind of folded it over, and it did go eventually. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I think next to gathering, that's probably one of my worst things to do, turn through little straps like this, but it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. I'd really like to make a couple more of these, maybe even like a sleeveless version or something for the summer, like a white floaty fabric. That would be really nice, I think. I did find the pattern quite unusually assembled. So the bodice is lined, fully lined, and the sleeves are kind of attached on the flat as you would a sweatshirt or something, which is quite unusual. I did find it quite hard to get my sleeves in kind of without any bunching or ruching or anything, and I don't know if anyone else has found that. It might just be me, but yeah, I found that quite unusual, but it works really well because then once the lining is in, you just kind of hand sew around the armhole that it's in. You sew up the sleeve and down the front, and then when all of that's done you kind of hand sew the lining around the armhole, and it's all really neat at the end. So I'll just show you the pattern. That's the Sudley top and dress. There's quite a few different versions, and even inside the pattern she gives you more options and ideas of ways that you can adapt it, so really love that. So this is my next make, and this was another Nielsen. It was the Jarrah sweatshirt, and here it is. I'll just show it to you on the camera. So that's a really lovely kind of versatile basic sweatshirt pattern. I've wanted a sweatshirt pattern in my stash for a while, and I was debating whether to go for this one or the Linden, because I've seen lovely versions of the Linden sweatshirt on Instagram, and I decided to go for that one because I liked the variation in the hem length. So you can make just a basic sweatshirt with the cuffs and like a hem cuff. There's also this tie option which I've done. Stand up and show you. So there you go. Just kind of waist length with a tie at the hip, and I quite like the kind of cropped nature of it and the fact that it just finishes on the hip, and I think that would be really nice for kind of spring summer wear. So this was made with my jersey marl fabric from the fabric guys online, and it was gifted in exchange for a blog post which I've written for them, and that'll be up online soon, and I'll link it down below if I can. And this fabric was really lovely. It's kind of thin and t-shirty, so it's not sort of a fleece backed fabric. It's a cotton. I'll show you. That's a bending around, sorry. So it's kind of, I'd say it's like a cotton jersey probably, really, rather than a sweatshirt in fabric, but I think it works really well with this pattern, especially with like spring summer coming up. It's really light, and you know, it'd be good for that transitioning time from winter to spring when it's still a bit chilly. And I really like this kind of marl coloured texture to it with the grey and white. It's like my kind of colours. Yeah, so I really liked the pattern. It was really quick and easy to make. I always struggle when it comes to neck bands. I think because I'm quite new to sewing jersey and I'm still a bit nervous about sort of putting neck bands in and things, I did have a bit of trouble getting this in, just because I didn't measure it properly. I just kind of fitted it straight from the pattern piece, and it was way too big and gapey, so I had to take it all off again and sort of re-measure and watch a YouTube video and kind of work out how I needed to resize the neckband. So I did that, and I cut it again at an 80% measurement, so based on the stretch of the fabric. Tacked it all back in again, and it was fine, and actually I'm really pleased with how this sits now. It's kind of quite flat, and I'm pleased with how it turned out in the end, but I think neckbands just make me a bit nervous, so I'm always a bit sort of, I just want to get it done, and then I rush and then it goes wrong. So I think just slow down next time, measure properly, and it will be much easier. So yeah, love that pattern, just a basic sweatshirt pattern. Definitely going to be making more of those, I think, for spring summer. So next up is the same pattern again, so the Nielsen Jarrah sweatshirt, but I've made it this time with the drop hem version, so it's like a high-low hem with a curved hemline. I'll just stand up so you can see. So it's kind of very much lower at the back and then quite cropped at the front, which I really like. I think it's a really nice style. It's quite flattering, isn't it? Just to sort of finish at the hips and then curve round. So really like this. And again, it was very quick and easy to make. This fabric was from Minerva. It was gifted again in exchange for a blog post. I'm a bit behind with my blog post for them, so I've kind of got a few stacking up. That's why I've kind of done so many reviews this month. But anyway, yeah, this fabric was a pink, dusky pink sweatshirt in fabric. It's kind of a loop back jersey. So I've got one more make to show you, which is the one hanging up here, if you can see behind the dog. And I'll just get changed and put that on and show you. So my final make is this lovely dress by the DIBY Club. You might not have heard of the DIBY Club, I hadn't, but they kindly emailed me and asked me if I would like to have a look at their website and review one of their patterns. So I had a look, and their patterns are lovely, and I said yes please, I would love to. And they asked me if I would review this dress, which is the Emmeline dress on their website. And it's a lovely kind of fit and flare jersey dress. I'll stand up so that you can see. There's lots of different options. I went for the knee length version. They also have a maxi length and a mini length, which would be quite short. And then they have lots of different bodice variations, so you could have a V-neck bodice, you could have a short sleeve like I've got, sleeveless, elbow length sleeve, or full length sleeve. and because spring and summer is coming up, I decided to go for the short sleeve version in this beautiful fabric from Girl Charlie. If you remember from my fabric haul video, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to make with this, but when I had this pattern to review, I thought that would actually go perfectly. The pattern is actually downloaded as an ebook because there's so much information in there, so it talks you from the beginning through getting your sizing right, measuring right, and then based on your measurements how to grade and alter your pattern so that you can get a dress or a shirt or a top that fits you perfectly. So with this one, I am a 32-inch bust and I think I'm a 27-inch waist and about a 36-inch hip. So my bust was coming out as a size 0, but my hips were like a size 4. So using their grading tutorial, I graded from the bust down to the hips from a 0 to size 4, and it actually fits me perfectly, and I'm really glad that I actually took the time to do that grading rather than just going ahead like I sometimes do, making the first size based on my bust measurement. Then it probably would have been a bit too tight around here, so I'm really glad that I did actually follow their tutorial and get the sizing right before I started. Because it's a fit and flare dress, I didn't worry too much about my hip measurement because I knew that there would be quite a lot of ease around the hips. So I didn't do any grading when it came to the skirt, even though my hip measurement didn't go along with the size 0 measurement. I still went with the size 0 skirt because I knew there would be quite a lot of, as I say, ease in the hips, and that's worked out fine. I really like this dress. I'm so grateful that I've got this pattern in my stash now because it's definitely one that you could knock out really quickly in a couple of hours. I think it took me about 3.5 hours to sew, but again that's just because I feel a bit nervous still with jersey, so I kind of took it slowly and took my time with it. You could sew it straight on an overlocker, but I never do that. I'm still a bit too nervous to do that at the moment, so I sewed my seams and then I overlocked and finished them, and that probably took a bit longer than maybe necessary. There's a really good tutorial on their ebook, and they've got YouTube videos to go along with all of their instructions in the pattern, which is brilliant. So I watched their neckband tutorial when I got to the neckband stage because, as mentioned, I don't like doing neckbands and I'm always quite nervous about them. So I watched that and I kind of cut this according to their instructions, and it went in really nicely, and I've top stitched it and it's kind of staying down and looking as it should do. So yeah, really pleased with that. So I will link to their pattern company down below. Definitely go and check them out because especially if you're new to jersey sewing and you're still a bit nervous with any kind of sewing, they've got so many kind of clear instructions about how to do everything. Definitely check them out. I think if you're A, worried about sizing in patterns, and B, still a bit nervous about making anything in jersey or anything at all really, because they're really good and I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. I think it will be absolutely perfect for spring and summer. I haven't got any good photos of it yet because if you're from the UK you'll know the terrible weather we've been having. Every time I kind of think about going out and taking photos, we have one storm after the other. It's windy, it's rainy, it's horrible, and especially trying to model a dress like this outside, I think it would absolutely freeze to death. But hopefully I'll get some nice photos soon and I'll put them on Instagram or somewhere so that you can see. So that's it for my makes for February. I hope you like what I've made. I really am pleased with all of them actually, and particularly the fact that I've got 3 jersey garments in there, because jersey, as I say, always makes me a little bit nervous. It's not my favourite thing to sew with, but it is my favourite thing to wear, so I've got to kind of get over my fear of sewing with jersey. I've got to get to like it more so that I can make more things that I'd actually wear, rather than just sewing lots and lots of pretty dresses and woven things that I don't wear day to day. So thank you for watching. I'd love you to leave a comment or a question about anything I've made if you want to, and I'll definitely reply to you down below. I'll leave all the links to everything I mentioned down below as well, so that you can pop over if you like anything and have a look. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I'd love you to think about subscribing. I am going to make a makes video every month and also a fabric haul video, and then hopefully when I get a bit more used to this I'll start to make more videos about sewing. So yeah, thank you very much for watching and I will see you soon. Bye!